This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. I was just recently at the GAMA Trade Show, which was in Reno, Nevada. The GAMA Trade Show is an industry-only event, not open to public, and there's different distributors, retailers, publishers, press. Essentially, a lot of people can go through classes and tracks to sort of learn different things about the industry, but there's also an exhibit hall. There's a lot of times to play games at night, see the new things that are coming out. It's essentially the kickoff for the North American gaming market in 2018. And so I got to play a lot of different things, and I recently already published a video that was my highlights of all the different things I heard about. I'll put the link of that video down below here, but I also get to play full games of certain things. And so here I'm going to summarize my 5 favorite things that I played enough of to feel like I could talk about it with some intelligent ways. So here are my top 5 games that I got to actually play at the GAMA Trade Show.
Number 5.
My number 5 is from Pandasaurus Games. This is called Nyctophobia. This is from a first-time designer, Catherine Stipple. Now, her uncle is non-sighted, and he plays a lot of games. She plays a lot of games with him. Now, she thought, what if we inverted it and everyone else is would experience the world as he does? So Nyctophobia essentially is fear of the dark. And in this game, one player plays the hunter, and they're the only ones that can see. They're going to be sort of manipulating the board for people, moving things around. That player is basically trying to kill any one of the players. All of the other players are working together against the hunter, so it's one versus many. And the ones that are running around being hunted all wear these dark glasses, and you can't see anything. And even during the board, the hunter's going to help move your hand onto your piece. You're going to be feeling around. You might be running into other players and feeling which one they are just by on the board. You're going to be feeling trees. You're going to be feeling the edge of the board. And as you go through, the people that are being hunted are trying to essentially find the car, make a phone call, and get through one more turn without anyone being killed, while the hunter's just trying to kill people. Now, each of the players has a special ability, like you might be able to, you climb over trees. You'll be throwing rocks at the hunter when they get close. And the people being hunted are basically, as they're learning about their surroundings, they're supposed to be sharing these with the other players. But the hunter can hear what they're sharing and know what their plans are trying to be and can react to that. And so you're basically trying to listen to what other people are saying. Like, hey, I was just in the northeast side of the board. This player was over on the northwest side of the board. Because they just went off the edge, they know that. And let's just start trying to move together and move over here. What'd you find over here? Don't go down there. That's where the hunter just was. The hunter's playing one of 2 cards throughout the turn with these powerful abilities, and they're just basically trying to kill the people. And I gotta tell you, we played it once. A full game took about 30 minutes, and it is scary. There's a lot of horror games out there that don't feel scary. This felt scary. A lot of it, you don't know where you're going. The hunter's sort of like chastising you and laughing at you and telling you that he's really close when he's really not. And you really do kind of feel scared, but it's really cool because you have to really work well with the other players and listen to what they're saying and tell them what you're seeing, or tell them where you're around and what you're feeling. And you really have to piece together things together in order to make things work. It's a very unique experience. It's definitely nothing like anything I've ever played before. And it was a really fun experience. I'm really looking forward to playing this more. I'm looking forward to also playing it as the hunter and seeing how that feels. It's going to be coming out later this year, and it was just a really, really unique experience. If you're looking for something that you've never even played anything like it before, this is definitely it, and it certainly is scary.
Number 4.
My number 4 is called Prowler's Passage, and it's coming from Renegade Game Studios. Now, this is designed by J. Alex Cavern, who is known for Sentient and World's Fair 1893. Now, this is a 2-player only game. It's a tactical tug of war. This game has simple turns. Essentially, all you're doing is placing a little passage on a board, which is like a long piece of wood of your color. And once you place that passage anywhere on an open spot on the board, you're taking a good like gold or shovels or different things like that, and then you're moving up 2 tracks. And this is where the tug of war comes in. Now, wherever you laid that specific, that passage, the 2 adjacent areas of town that those were adjacent to, you'll get to move those tracks towards yourself. And so you're trying to be ahead of the other player in certain tracks. Now, shovels allow you to move up more than just the 2 tracks that you were next to, but they can be worth negative points at the end of the game. There's 2 scorings during the game, mid-game and end-game, and they score exactly the same. You're going to get points for having the longest, for the longer passage, single contiguous passage you have, the more points you'll get. You'll be getting points for how many sets of light goods you have, but you really score other tracks depending on you control. So each of those tracks, you only score them if they're on your side, or you control them on your tug-of-war side of things. And there's different ones like residential and political, and each one of those things scores differently. Like if you control the one that's good with the money, you'd get 5 points and 1 coin for each of the money you have. So each of them scores sort of differently, and the game was very tug-of-warish, very tense, super easy to teach, but man, there's a lot of depth. Replayability is huge because you're going to be able to like move around and there's different tiles every game. They're oriented differently. There's also 3 public goals that you're trying to rush for. The first one to get it gets it, and some of the other areas that you score in actually give you more points if you've already gotten some of those. There's just a lot here. For as simple as the game is, wow, I was really impressed with both. I can already see the replayability of this game being off the charts. In the last game, there were only like 2 instances of like the white area. I can't remember off the top of my head what the name of it was, but it was like someone got control of that, and then we knew that you weren't going to be able to get control of it without shovels later on. So there's just this really interesting thing, but there was like a plethora of blue ones that turn. So the game will be different. The puzzle's different. Every game's going to just feel very different. Simple rules, lots of depth. This is huge in my depth to complexity ratio. This is a fantastic 2-player game.
Number 3.
The next one is a game that wasn't even at GAMA officially, actually. It was brought to me by my good friend Suzanne Sheldon from the Dice Tower. It's a roll and write game called Welcome to ... That's literally the title. Welcome to ... It's a roll and write game that actually uses cards instead of dice. Now it's from Blue Cocker Games in France, and it's not yet available in North America, although I heard they're in talks with a publisher that will be bringing it to North America hopefully sometime this year. Basically, you'll be building the best new town in the United States of the 1950s, and you'll be doing that by adding resources to a pool, hiring employees, and a lot of other things. So essentially, everyone has 3 of the same cards to choose from each round. Now, each of those give you a number and an ability. Now, writing in those numbers into the rows in an ascending order helps you basically, score things. You could score palm trees in different rows for more points. You could be putting the numbers with a pool on a spot of a house that actually has a pool, and the more you do that, the more points you get. You could be using the construction zone, and the person who has the most of those at the end will get the certain amount of points. There's fences that you'll be drawing, creating subsectioned areas of the houses, and getting certain sized ones for points. The more you do the same ones, the more points you get. Some of the objective cards will bring out certain sizes of neighborhoods that you're trying to create. So essentially, there's these 3 objective cards that are open. You're trying to race to get those to get the most points. Now, this is basically a roll and write with cards, but man, there's a lot going on here. It's definitely not like a beginner one like Quicks. And so it's not like an entry-level one. This is more of a gamer's version of a roll and write, but it looks really cool. The theme is awesome, and there's really a lot to think about. I loved it. It's one of my favorite roll and writes, and I only played it, I think, just once, and I fell in love with it. So this is called Welcome to from Blue Cocker Games.
Number 2.
Now, number 2 is called Chronicles of Crime. Now, this was on Kickstarter that recently ended. They'll probably have a late back if you want to check them out, or a quote-unquote pre-order. This is a cooperative game of crime investigation. It mixes a virtual reality or VR experience and board gaming, because there's reusable components that'll be used in multiple scenarios. Now, I think there's about 9 scenarios with all the stretch goals that were unlocked. There's cards of characters that you'll use to investigate, as well as clues and objects. And there's also different locations that you'll be going to investigate. And to do that, you use your device, and you'll be scanning it using the Chronicles of Crime app, and you'll be scanning QR codes, and it will just bring you through the story of things. Now, some locations allow you to use the VR to sort of look around for clues, and allow others to look around for clues. So while you're looking around, you're just telling people what you see, and everyone else is looking for cards of clues on the table that might match up with something like that. You can bring them into the world, and you can start scanning those, and you can ask different people about different things. You can ask people about other people, people about themselves, people about locations. You can go to experts like the morgue or the hacker and ask them about specific things. It's really, really cool. Now, each scenario is about 60 to 90 minutes, and if you get lost or you're off the path, the app actually prompts you and helps you kind of sort of get back on track, which I really liked. And as I said, their Kickstarter just ended, but you'll probably be able to late back it. It's coming out in December 2018. Now, I got to play both the tutorial and the first full scenario, which was supposedly an easy scenario. The scenario took us an hour and 15 minutes, so it's about right where it says 60, 90 minutes. I was really impressed in the technology of this. I think it really matches sort of technology and the physical tactical world of board gaming very well. As you're looking through cards together over here, and he or she has the device over here, but then you can move it around. You're passing the phone from person to person, like, hey, you know what, why don't you ask her about this? Okay, why don't you take the phone over here and ask him about her, or ask this location about this. And it's really smooth. The technology worked really well. The story is really cool. It kind of gives you that sort of Sherlock Holmes consulting detective, but like in a modern world. The first one obviously wasn't nearly as hard as, say, what Sherlock Holmes was. It's more of like finding your way through the story, trying to figure out things. At the end, you get 4 or 5 questions, similar to, say, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. But the whole world is amazing. The immersion of the virtual reality, going through there, working together, trying to figure out what happened, trying to figure out who to ask about who, the flexibility of really to work with everything that's on the table, but then do it through the phone. It's really cool. I really enjoyed this. This was already one of my most anticipated games coming out this year, and after playing it, I'm even more excited. That's Chronicles of Crime.
Number 1.
All right, my favorite game that I played the entire time at GAMA, like one of the other ones on this list, wasn't even really at GAMA. In fact, it's not even out in North America yet. It just came out in Europe. Pandasaurus just signed it, and we'll be bringing it over later in the year, and it's called The Mind. Now, this is a 2 to 4 player cooperative game. It's done by the same original people that did The Game, which was, a Spiel des Jahres nominee. And it's sort of a sequel to that. Now, there's a couple of things that are sort of in common, but it's a very different game. It's a team experience in which you can't exchange information, yet you need to become one to defeat all the levels of the game. See, there's cards between 1 and 100, and you have to defeat a certain amount of levels depending on the amount of players that are in the game. Now, in level 1, each player has 1 card. Level 2, everyone has 2 cards, and so on and so forth. Now, there's no talking, but you're trying to, togetherly play the cards in order. Anyone can play a card at any time, and you've got to make sure they're going in ascending order, but no one knows what cards anybody has. But the only way to find out is to literally stare at each other, give each other eyeballs, faces, do body language like looking away, I'm not interested, I might have a higher card. And it's such an easy, an interesting thing. You're trying to hint towards whether you have a card to play right now, whether your number is close. It's an amazing experience. Now, you hear about experience games all the time. I got to play this 4 times. Thank you, Eric Martin from Board Game Geek, for sitting down with myself and Suzanne Sheldon and Greg Dixon from the Hooked on Geek podcast. And we got to play this. I think we played it 4 times. All of it was with 4 players. And so this was sort of an amazing experience. Now, people talk about experiences a lot. This was like nothing I've ever played before, and it's like so much fun. Like, you're literally trying to figure out what people are doing. You're wanting to play this game over and over and over again. It probably takes 15 minutes to play it. And we got to play it, even though we played it 4 times, we played it with the same 4 people twice, and then one of the people swapped out for a new person twice. And you start to get into a rhythm with people and learn how people think and how they feel and how fast they move. And someone might be more delayed or more laid back than others. I gotta tell you, this game is amazing, and I agree with Eric Martin, who at the table said, I think this will be a Spiel des Jahres nominee. I agree with him. Usually when I play something, I get that feeling sometimes, and I did get that feeling with this. This is a quote-unquote special game, and it was the best game I got to play at the GAMA Trade Show. Well, Well, I hope this helped you kind of find out about new and exciting games that I got to see and get sneak peeks at GAMA, put some of those on your radar, and especially even the surprises to me that 2 of these weren't even at GAMA. They were sort of unofficial things that I played that recently came out in Europe that will be coming out here later, hopefully. So this has been the Game Boy Geek, helping you find and enjoy the next board game you'll love.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.